So I think if we learned anything from the end of WandaVision, it's probably the fact that the biggest villain in the MCU is the Please Stand By. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Disney TV. If this is your first time here, welcome home. We're so glad to have you. Today is going to be a very interesting video, as WandaVision has officially wrapped up, and there's a lot to talk about with this. Episode 7 was very interesting. This one was the 2010s Modern Family / The Office episodes, episode rather. It was pretty good. It was a good episode, very interesting direction, and the fact that it's like Office, like mockumentary style, and but we do see like Monica trying to get back in, and she actually does, but in the process she develops powers. It's pretty insane. She and Wanda have a tiny confrontation at the beginning of this episode, and then towards the end we got to see that it was Agatha all along. I mean, there was really no surprise there, but and by the way, her song is a bop. That's all I have to say. But yeah, pretty solid episode. Moving on to number 8. This one is probably one of my favorites because it did answer a lot of questions pertaining to not only the series as well as Wanda's story as a whole. So we see her childhood. We see the missile that strikes down into her home. The reason why she and Pietro hate Tony Stark in Avengers Age of Ultron. And then we also get to see why she's so fascinated with like sitcoms and things of that sort. We also get to see just some different moments of her being a part of Hydra, how she interacted with the Mind Stone, which she actually saw, like how that whole process went down, which is insane. Really, really cool to see that. A different one of the conversations she had with Vision when still grieving over Pietro's death, which was awesome. I love the line that Vision says, which is, it was something like, what is grief if love does not win? And that was just, it was such a great line, really, really touching line. And also, like, Agatha is just trying to pry different things to her. But if what she's saying is true, that she actually had powers before the Mind Stone, that makes her and possibly Pietro the first mutants in the MCU, outside of course, the kids, Billy and Tommy. So that really makes it interesting. And then also towards the end, we do get to see Agatha takes the children and just kind of like has them, roped off or whatever. And she exclaims that, Wanda is the Scarlet Witch. It's pretty much like a power essence in like the witch lore, where she's like the strongest of them all type of deal. And that's where the episode ends. Probably the bombshell that we all saw towards the end of that was White Vision. Vision being resurrected, now he is the White Vision. Moving on to episode 9, the final episode of the series. And yes, I do say series because as of right now, we don't know if we are getting a season 2. And most likely, I don't think we will, or even we should get a season 2. But the biggest thing really is the fact that we have this confrontation between Agatha and the Scarlet Witch, and Agatha's actually draining Wanda's powers, and that really is a huge deal. And so they have their confrontation. We get to see the White Vision and Vision go head-to-head, which is really exciting. Paul Bettany facing himself, but really just the fact that White Vision is into this, to me, is just super cool, because it's like, it's taking it directly from the comics. Like, Agatha kind of like releases all these people, and so they're all about to confront her, and like Wanda's dealing with like a whole bunch of stuff and just pain, and so she tries to break off Westview, tries to save everybody. And that's where we see Hayward and his troops start to pour in, but it's getting rid of Tommy and Billy and Vision. And so she stops. Of course, the sword agents come in. Hayward comes in because he wants to kill her. Such a turd. But anyway, and so they have this like standoff. Vision once again goes to fight Vision. Wanda deals with Agatha, and the kids actually get to deal with the sword agents, and it was a pretty impressive scene between the two of them. But backtracking a little bit, Monica's being held by Pietro, the fake Quicksilver dude, who we find out is actually Ralph Bonner. It's either Bonner or Boner. They made the joke of that. And then we see Monica Rambeau actually saving some of the kids from Hayward's bullets, and Billy just kind of grabs one and just kind of throws it. Just their powers, like the kids' powers and Monica's powers, really just super cool. Hayward tries to get away, and then Darcy comes up with the truck and just boosh, goes in. We also see from the outside, like Jimmy Woo and the other FBI agents trying to deal with some things. And of course, Jimmy Woo also had probably one of the best scenes in this episode with his bluffing thing when he wasn't really bluffing. So yeah, that was just, it was so cool. So cool. I loved it a lot. Then we see a little bit of Vision and Vision's confrontation, and they're just talking about some stuff of like that I have no clue. I believe it was like the ship of Thesis, something like that. The vision of Wanda's mind taps into resurrected Vision, the White Vision, and gives him all of his memories back. And we see his eyes kind of fade from blue into the normal eyes of Vision. And that was like so cool to me, because like, if I remember correctly in the comics, it's actually Wanda that does that. But I love the idea that Vision is the one who does do that for Vision. And so White Vision just takes off. We have no clue where he goes. We don't see him for the rest of the episode. We see the final confrontation between Agatha and Wanda. And they play with each other's minds, and just that whole confrontation. And then we see Agatha saying, "You give your power to me, I will let you stay." Wanda's like, it looks like Wanda's giving up her powers and just throwing stuff at it. She's missing a couple times and throwing at it and throwing. And like, her kids are scared, Vision's scared. Then we see 2 rune spells that she casted, that only the person who casts the runes can use spells or use her powers. And so she sucks all the power back to her, and Agatha's just kind of drained. She falls, and we see the Scarlet Witch. They tuck the kids into bed, and Wanda has a last moment with them, and has a last moment with Vision as the walls of Westview come to a close, as Wanda decides to get rid of everything. And it's a very touching scene, both of that whole scene from Vision all the way to Tommy and Billy. Their goodbyes are just, it's a very, very sweet moment, and we see everything's just back to normal. Wanda's still dealing with the grief, puts her hood up, just kind of walks away. So that's where the main part of the episode really just ends. Good. And then, of course, we had 2 post-credit scenes, one dealing directly into Captain Marvel 2, which we know now Monica Rambeau is going to be a part of, which is exciting. I can't wait to see that. And then, of course, we also get a look at what looks like a possible astral projection of Wanda doing something. She's, like, chilling and making coffee, but then in the back room, she's, like, holding the Darkhold and reading it and all this other stuff, and it was a very creepy scene. And we hear possibly one of the kids call out Mom, and this, I believe, will directly tie into Doctor Strange 2, outside of what Agatha said, "You don't know what you unleashed." Anyway, that's it. That wraps up all the reviews. Really, this was a good series. This was a very enjoyable series. I also plan on leaving all 9 episodes the ranking that I have for all 9 episodes down in the comments. Also, make sure to comment your thoughts on the series down below. Very interesting welcome back to the MCU, but overall, it was very enjoyable. I liked it a lot, and that's all I have to say. I'm super excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier to come out. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Really hope you did enjoy the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell to be notified for more videos on Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, the parks, and so much more. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a magical day. Good.